After finalizing the design in Inkscape, I printed out on my home laser printer. Since I'm printing on standard size paper, which isn't large enough for a guitar body, I added reference lines to my Inkscape drawing, which helps me align the four pieces to tape them together. While I'm taping, you'll notice me holding up the paper in front of the monitor. This works as a light box of sorts, to help me see through the paper to align the reference points. Lots of tape later, one multi-sheet template is created. I'm down in the workshop now. I got my template here. Got a 1/2-inch MDF board. So I'm just going to really roughly trace out the outline. Just do some quick cross cuts to make the board size what I need. All right, now let's go to the bandsaw. So I ended up having to cut the MDF board with a handsaw. My bandsaw is not big enough, but that's all right. And so the next thing is really to put our center line in. When you listen or watch any of the YouTube videos, the thing that's stressed over and over is that it somewhat doesn't matter what's going on all around your body template. The center line is the only thing that matters to keep the neck aligned, keep the strings straight, and then ultimately leads to better playability. So what I'm going to do now is put a center line in, and then I'm going to glue this template to the MDF, and then we'll cut it out on the bandsaw. First time I've ever used this spray adhesive, so we'll see how that goes. So there you go. We got our template glued to the MDF. We'll let that dry for maybe a minute or so, and then I'll start cutting it out of the bandsaw. You couldn't see it over by the bandsaw, but I was wearing a respirator while I was cutting out the MDF. And I'll be wearing a respirator when I'm using the oscillating spindle sander as well. MDF is really nasty in terms of the dust that it sends off. Even with the dust collector running, you can never be too safe. So first I'm going to put on a big drum to do the bigger radius curves on the body, and then I'll switch to a smaller diameter drum when I want to go around the fine details. And that's about it. To rough in your template outline, you don't actually have to go to the exact line. Because I made my own design here, it's not like anyone's going to know if this arc is, slightly shallower than, the drawing was or anything else. And so what I'm going to do is drill out some reference holes for this part. I'll probably put a hole here just to mark kind of the rough center of where the pickups are. And then I'm actually going to take this paper template off. You can see it's pretty floppy. And then I'll have my guitar body template. Alright, I'm back in the shop this morning. I got my shop helper Nathaniel here helping me with the video. So I took the paper off last night, but before I did that I drilled out my reference holes. So I have the holes for the switches and the pots, and I put 2 holes for the humbuckers. As you saw, I sprayed adhesive all over this before I put the paper down. Taking the paper off, you might think, well, isn't that going to be all glued up? The answer is actually no. And so overnight, the glue is dried. You can definitely feel it, but it's not sticky to the touch. And so, now what I'm going to do is actually take my, I don't know where it is. Oh. Take my StuMac humbucker template, actually put it on here, and then I'm going to drill out this area and then use my Bosch trim router to actually make the humbucker holes. You want to come here and help me with this?
Sure.
Okay, so it's lined up with the hole. Okay. Now draw around the edge. And this pencil's not really sharp. Get another pencil out of the...
Okay.
Well, you come here. Okay. You draw the edge. You know what I'm trying to show you? The tracing it? So now that I have my pencils marked, my pencil marks on the template, I'm actually going to use the drill press first to hollow out most of the area, and then we'll clean up the cut using the trim router. So now I have my drill press set up with a 1-inch Forstner bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hollow out most of the area of the pickup cavities so that my router doesn't have to do that much work. So you can see I've cut out the hole here. This will give me a good starting point for the router when I have the template on there, so that we can make some exact cuts. I'm not going to film the second half of this because basically it's just drilling the same set of holes. So we'll move on to showing the routing piece. So now I have my trim router set up with a pattern bit where the bearing rides along the inside of the template. As I mentioned with sanding the MDF, the MDF dust is pretty nasty, and so I'm going to turn on my dust collector. I'm going to be wearing a respirator, and pretty soon we'll have a hole for the pickups. And that was that. There's a handful of things that could have gone better here. First, It's pretty silly to have safety equipment and then not use it, so having the headphones there but not putting them on, of course, didn't help my hearing at all.
I was using them.
Yeah, you were using them, that's fine.
Yes. You gotta make
I also
sense.
could have put the template down, clamped it down with another clamp. It was getting a little wiggly, but you know, in the end, it turns out just fine. And so now we have a humbucker hole. I'm going to go ahead and do the second one now, and then the template should be finished for now. And just like the last one, we have a nice clean route for our humbucker. And that's it. That's how I create a template for a guitar body. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And stay tuned for more videos from my Great Guitar Build Off 2021 project. Thanks for watching.